Hey guys, Lord here, back again with another action figure review. Today we'll be taking a look at the Cosmic Legion's Book of Hvalkatar 1. Whatever you want to call it. I don't know what to call this first wave. I would just rather it be called Wave 1 instead of Book 1 of Hvalkatar with like 50 other subnames. Whatever you want to call it, it's Cosmic Legion's Wave 1. Svexian Block Commander, brought to us by the fine folks over at Horsemen Studios. And I gotta tell you, when they initially revealed the Svexians here, I did not know they were this big. And when I say that, these guys are about the same height as a standard 1.0 release. Now that might not seem like much to you, but to be honest, I thought these guys were almost dwarf scale. What a nincompoop I was, right? That said, before we ramble on any further, like the Led Zeppelin song suggests, why don't we cut right to the chase and get into the meat and taters of this review and take a look-see at the Svexian Block Commando's accessories, because it's pretty much the same between him and the Prison Guard, who I will be looking at later today, since it's 2 for Tuesday. I don't care if it's the same week as Thanksgiving. I'm working overtime here at Overlord Productions. That said, I'm recording this almost a month before the holidays, so who really gives a crap, right? That said, Svexians come with a pair of grip hands with the appropriate hinge for holding weapons. They come with a pair of grip hands with the inappropriate hinge for holding weapons. They come with a pair of trigger finger hands with the appropriate hinge for holding weapons. And a secondary pair of trigger finger hands with the inappropriate hinge for holding weapons. So, it's a bit overkill with the hands, I'm not going to lie. Considering they're just grip hands, I think we only need the up and down hinge, but I know some people like the in and out hinge too. That's just a personal preference, but practically speaking, you only really need the up and down hand. That said, they also come with these cool blasters. I don't know why I keep saying they. I'm reviewing the other one as its own separate thing, not as one with this guy. But we have this cool looking Halo-esque blaster. Oh, bad, but I really like this. Again, much like the Kragnar Club, kind of hollow and light, but it's not always a bad thing. That means you won't fall forward with it. And we also get this two-pronged spear, but like the Ulik Thygar weapons, no modularity here. It's very interesting, but it's got some yellowish blades there. I think this is his. If it's not, then it's gonna be, because it looks cool. But either way, that is it, other than the little cannons on the arms here, which do pop out, but I'm leaving those in because they look cool in there. Last I checked, it's my toy. I'll do what I want. But that said, they do also come with the Cosmic Legions anyways. They come with little clear pegs. I don't have any on hand. I have them in storage so I don't lose them. But they're for these little ports. Not only on the arms, but elsewhere, to put like blasters and things like that. But for a lot of my figures, don't really have a purpose for them. That said, if you got some figures with pistols and things, they work great with those, I hear. So, as far as the Svexians go, these guys remind me a lot of the Scarabus, who I actually used to call the Swarm when I first conceived them when I was a younger lad in my college years, which wasn't that long ago. I could still be considered that now. But I called them the Swarm. They were a race of insectoid alien creatures that conquered other planets. And later I named them the Scarabus, kind of as a tribute to Four Horsemen, because they have the figures, the Scarabus. And then they come out with these guys that friggin' look pretty close to what I designed in college. Granted, mine didn't really have the thorax here, and they weren't as hunched and wide, or at least their heads weren't as wide. They were a lot thinner. They looked a lot more like these guys mashed up with the space pirates from Metroid. But these are the closest things I have to figures of those, so you know what? I don't care. I love this figure, and I like the prison guard too. But I think I like this one a little more. I like the colors a little better. And the quality on this one's a little bit better on this one than it was on the prison guard. But we'll get to that when we talk about him. But as far as articulation on the crazy Bugman goes, he's got a ball joint in the head that gives you pretty decent range up and down. Tilt side to side is ridiculous. He can rotate as well. You do have to plug in the mandibles and the antennae on his head. But it's nothing too difficult. I will tell you, the one difficult thing is these freaking arms. They're kind of a pain in the butt to move. They're very hindered by this back thing here. But it does kind of pop out a little bit and allow you to move things a little easier. But you can move the arm forward and back. It does have a hinge. I'm going to leave that up for the time being. Because he does also have an elbow hinge. Which does not give you 90, I don't think, which sucks because I'd like to pose them better with the stabs, as if they're fighting with them or something. But as it stands, it's good enough. I don't pose my figures on the shelf, I just kind of pose them for the review. But I like to have really cool dynamic poses for my reviews just to showcase things. But I'm really gonna get that here. He does have a gauntlet twist. He does have a swivel in the wrist with a hinge. I don't actually know if that's the hinge or if that's just the peg wiggling in there, because it's a little loose, but not awful. It's fine. That said, they do have these little arms here, which do rotate. They do hinge up and down as well. These things are a pain in the arse. I have to pop these guys apart to get these suckers in, and I'm about done doing that because I've done it twice now. I don't want to do it anymore. And my dumb arse pre-ordered the Svexian Minor, so joke's on me, I guess. That said, they do have hinge swivel elbows on these little arms. I kind of just wish these were just littler arms that didn't move, other than like a swivel or a ball peg here. I think that'd be a little better for me. But they do rotate here. He does have rotating little claws, but these are... You can hear how tight that is. It works, but it is kind of scary to move. Not gonna lie. So, I don't know. Be careful with that. You could break it like I did on my prison guard and I had to get it replaced. But it is what it is, I guess. Luckily, customer service was cool enough to help me with that. Said moving his arm down there. He does have a waist twist, but it's a twist. It's not going to get any crunch. Pretty locked down in the torso. He does have these cool wings, which we are going to see on Poxus. They do rotate. They do hinge up and down. They do not spread out. Do not try and spread these things out. They don't work like that. But they are kind of a pain in the butt to port in there on the back. So be mindful of that. As far as the hips go, they do kick forward and back. Nice and tight, though. They do hinge out, back down. He does have a thigh cut in there. He's got a single hinged knee, which gives you... about that far, about 90. It's got a swivel below that. Nice tight joints on this guy for the most part too. Nothing too loose. He does have a swivel in the foot with a hinge and a rocker. I haven't been saying pickles at the bottom of the feet, but they do got those. I will say this little piece on his chest kind of wiggles, but it's not articulated. And then his thorax back here, it is on a ball peg. You can kind of rotate it a little bit, but it's not really meant to be an articulation point. It's just kind of supposed to sit back there. So that's the Svexian Block Commander. He's friggin' cool. He is, but he's kind of also a pain in the patootie to kind of maneuver at times. So I don't know if he's my favorite of this wave. I really don't. I like Kragnar, but I did have some issues with that figure, just some loose joint problems, which I got fixed. So are they really issues? I mean, I still think they kind of qualify, but this guy not having any issues, just being difficult due to the design, that's another story. I don't know. Cosmic Legions is a mixed bag for me. I think that Canox Vol, the cyborg brute scale guy, he has potential to be my favorite, but we'll see come the end of the year when I do my top figures of the year video. So with that being said, let me move right along and take a look at some size comparisons. First up, here is our Svexian Block Commander, alongside a 1.0 build Cosmic Legions figure, the only 1.0 Cosmic Legions figure I have at this current time anyways, Hvalkatar Gravering Edition. And as you can see, while the Svexians are 1.0 builds, quote-unquote technically, they are quite a bit bigger than the standard 1.0 build, even when comparing to a Mythic Legions 1.0, the Templar Relic Guard here. He is very much wider and around the same height, even though he looks a little hunched there. They're approximately the same height, and they are a bit wider. So, definitely a bigger figure, and a more unique figure at that, because if you wanted to squeeze this guy into your Mythic Legions display, I'm not going to argue against it, but it's not as seamless of a fit as maybe this Hvalkatar is, because you could definitely just kit bash him and make him work, but this guy, he seems a lot more, I don't know, cosmic, if you will. So moving these two out of the way. If I can here. Running out of space. This, of course, wouldn't be one of my videos without bringing in good old brother Mandibulas. There he is. And the infamous 11 Spawn, who is a little taller than our Svexian, but Svexian's a lot wider. That said, I'd love to see a freaking crazy bug spawn. We used to get those in the 90s line, but not so much anymore. It's all just human spawn variant number, what is it? We're up to like 8 now. But with that being said, time to wrap things up. Some final thoughts. Overall, and aside from some looseness here and there, nothing too serious, and just the overall cumbersome nature of the Svexian character design, this has got to be one of the coolest figures I picked up this year. Top 10 figures of the year material? Maybe. I'm not 110% sure about that at this current time, but hey, stranger things have happened, right? That said, I still think Canox Vol from Hvalkatar Book 2, I think he's going to give these guys a run for their money, because while the Svexians were a pleasant, and in my opinion, much needed surprise from the Cosmic Legions line for me, I think they are a little bit too busy for my liking, especially with those widow arms in the front there. They're just kind of difficult to work with sometimes and have a tendency to pop out if you're not careful. Not in a bad way, you can pop it back in, because for Horsemen stuff, when it pops apart, typically it's not broken, so you can just put it back together and everything's hunky-dory. But yeah, who wants to deal with that, right? So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Until next time, catch you guys later.